A new day starts and you set a new goal. A new goal that requires that you start taking action. You sit down on your computer or you go out to sell whatever you want to sell, or you pick up the phone and then you call somebody. As soon as you start doing that, as soon as you start taking action and executing on what you need to get you closer to where you're going, you start dealing with two problems, or maybe two advantages. It depends of what happened to you in the past. The first area that you need to deal with is the baggage that you have. When we start taking action, we immediately start dealing and carrying our luggage that we bring from the past, that we bring from our education, from our parents, from our friends, from our school, from what's happened to us in the past. And also, we start dealing with the uncertainty of the future. Depending on the type of luggage that you bring, that will either give you self-doubt or will give you confidence to go ahead. Now, everything that happens to you, every interaction you have with people or a situation will bring a life experience. And that life experience, depending on how you see that life experience, will shape you in one way or another. If your luggage is heavy and negative, that experience will shape you in a very negative way. If that luggage, if that past, if those experiences are positive in your past, the new experiences will cause you to grow, and to grow fast, to grow stronger, and to grow a lot better than other people. Now, if you think about how those experiences stay with you in life, which is what I call neuroprints in my book, The Mental Breakfast, I would say those experiences stay with you in the way of stories. You know, every interaction, as I said before, with somebody and the outcome of that interaction, or the interaction with something and the outcome of that interaction, will stay with you as a story. And depending on the luggage that you have, it will be a positive or a negative story. That's why when you have two people and they go through exactly the same experience, they will come up with completely different stories. As an example, I know a guy who likes hiking, climbing mountains. He's amazing. But he had an accident. Once he was climbing a mountain, he had an accident and he fell about 3-4 meters and he badly damaged his left leg. He was taken to the hospital and the doctors managed to save his leg. But there was a problem. There was a compromise there. The compromise was that he would be able to keep his leg, but he would be limping and he wouldn't be able to run or climb mountains again, which for him, given his luggage, his past of high achievement, high performance, that was very negative, very bad news for him to come about. He got recovered, he went to his house, but he couldn't negotiate with the fact that he couldn't do what he loved anymore. Came the time and he made a decision. That decision was to cut his leg, to amputate his leg. He would get it done by the doctors, and to use a prosthetic leg. For most of the people who would go through this story, amputating their leg, even though the leg is there and you can live with it, that would be a very, very difficult decision. Yet this person actually went ahead and got it amputated, put a prosthetic leg, And now he's running and climbing mountains again. For 99% of the people, as I said, if they went through the same experience, they probably would have given up running and climbing and just changed their plans and go ahead with their life in a different way. This guy didn't, because that story that they saw coming after having his leg amputated was a story of achievement, and was a story that would allow him to keep on his comfort zone, which is high achievement and high performance. And for some other people, as I said, that experience would have created a completely different scenario. And that's very critical for you to learn. Now, why is this important? Why am I talking about goals, actions, future, past, life experiences, then stories? Because that's the way you create beliefs in your life. You know, those beliefs, which you probably know already, are the ones that run your behavior. Those beliefs are the ones that pilot your life, that basically the ones you rely on to make most of your decision in autopilot while you focus on something else. And those beliefs are shaped through stories. Now, if you have a negative luggage, a negative background, you will see negative stories and probably you will create negative beliefs. But it's not the case that if you have a negative past, you can only create negative beliefs. If you want to change the way you work, the way you operate, you need to become aware of actually what we are talking about here. Now, the type of beliefs that are created are into categories. One category is the internal beliefs, and the other type of beliefs are the external beliefs. The internal beliefs are the ones, for example, of self-worth. When you set a goal and you start taking action, if you have a negative luggage, a negative past, those internal beliefs might be of not worthy for the goal. And that actually on its own is a very important lesson to take away from this video, because that is an invisible enemy for your goals. If you deep inside feel you're not worthy, that's going to change on how constant, on how resilient you are on your goals. And that's very important. That's the internal beliefs, is the stories you tell yourself about what you can do, about how worth it you are of a goal, of how worth it you are of something you want to achieve. Now, there are as well the external beliefs, which is what you think about your interaction with the external environment. An example of that is if you were to start a project in an area you know nothing about, let's say technology, computers, then you might believe that is so complex that you won't be able to go through that hurdle. And the way to debunk those beliefs is basically through education. But still, if, for example, you started a project which was very complex and for some reason you didn't manage to go through those obstacles, you will create a story which will create then a negative belief on the external conditions that basically that's not something for you, that you won't be able to go through those obstacles, through those gates, because simply you're not capable of doing that. Now, if you have an internal belief of not worthy of it, it's going to be a lot difficult. But on the opposite, if you have an internal belief which is telling you, yes, you can do it, you will break through that, that helps a lot. But as long as you don't break this external belief in terms of what you can do or how complicated the external environment is because you have a lack of education on it, you won't be able to do it. Now, this is very important for you because this brings me down to the subject of this lesson. Internal beliefs and external beliefs are actually related to this number 2. What is number 2? Is the 2 journeys that you are traveling towards to or traveling through every time you set a goal and you start taking action. There is, surprisingly enough, There is an internal journey for you, and there is an external journey for you as well. The internal journey is the one where, through creating the correct type of beliefs about how you behave and how worth it you are about what you want to achieve, you become another person. I prefer calling it, you become the champion that you need to become, a champion inside you. That's therefore, internal beliefs will take you to an internal journey in which you shape yourself, and is therefore a transformation journey where at the end of the goal you became someone bigger than you were before you even started. That's why John F. Kennedy, when he was doing his speech about why United States chose to go to the moon, he said they've chosen that not because it was easy, but because it was hard. And what he meant by that was that when you start a goal, when you set a goal, especially if it's a significant one, it's not only about the external journey, which is a journey of achievement, which in this case is to get to the moon. What he meant is that that journey is more about the transformation that you need to achieve than the achievement itself. Of course, the external journey will take you to this achievement of the goal. If it's money, if it's losing weight, if it's getting somebody to be with you, a spouse, or having a relationship, whatever it is, that's important and you must celebrate. But the biggest gain that you will get from a significant goal is that of transforming yourself into somebody bigger, into the champion you have inside, into the winner you have inside. Just to summarize and just to finish, when you set a goal, you will always go through two different journeys, your external and external journeys. But those external journeys are deeply affected by the way or the stories you tell yourself to create those beliefs. And those stories are actually influenced. The ones that you tell yourself from a single experience are influenced by the stories that you already bring with you. If you become aware, if you become what I call an intentional winner, you will work on getting awareness of all these so you can actually see these journeys and help transform yourself into somebody even bigger, which will allow you to have a background, positive neuroprints, as I call them, to set bigger goals, to achieve them faster, and to get there a lot easier, because you become a much better person, a much bigger person. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Noel Cardona, a high-performance life and business coach, and these are your two journeys, the transformation and the achievement one. Thank you very much for your time. Bye for now.